Oh, right. MMA fools. I'm going to go ahead and break down again that we are temporarily in a different studio space. These three get to cuddle real close on the couch.
I'm comfy.
I'll be the
really
small
comfy.
spoon.
Yeah,
I like it.
we're working on creating a new space for MMA fools. So until then, we will be here. Obviously, we have a hell of a card to go over.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited to talk about this one.
I guess really mainly the main two fights were really the hell of a card.
Yeah,
part.
well, that Rebus fight was pretty relevant towards the division.
Yeah.
But if they didn't book that co-main, this would have been
Oh, man.
Putrid, yeah.
It would have been tough to pay the price.
I probably wouldn't have, dude.
Yeah.
Well, you couldn't stream
Fuck you,
anything.
Dana, streaming
No,
the-
literally all of them were down except for I
so-
think like one. Someone said they found one stream.
I
But
think-
Crack
Yeah.
Streams is. I think Crack Streams is gonna be
It's-
done.
Yeah, they messed something up last night because like I had like 3 people hit me up like, dude, is your shit on? Like they were getting error codes, like they bought their pay-per-view. They couldn't watch the first hour of the card.
I'd be pissed.
I was
I'd be
like,
pissed.
I gave out my ESPN Plus to a
Yeah,
couple
did it
people
tell them
last
that
night,
they couldn't
and
log
they
in?
couldn't get in on mine on their
Yeah,
internet.
that happened
Really?
to Devin because they were waiting after the Briars fight to like get everything straightened out. And I was like, "Do you guys want me to buy it?" And he was like, "If you would." And I was like, "Okay." So I sent him my login, and I was like, and they come in, and I'm like freaking out because it was right after Chandler, and I'm like, "Did you see that?" And they're like, "No." I'm like, "Why didn't you watch it?" He was like, "I couldn't get in." And I was like, "You couldn't get in.
Yeah.
There's no one
Fucking-
else that has my ESPN but you."
But like the way Dana was talking about it, he was like, "We have the streamer." Like they're like, "We have his phone tapped."
Yeah,
Like,
like,
what
they
the
have
fuck?
it, right?
Yeah, like what the hell?
All you
Like,
gotta do is turn it on, buddy.
He's that pressed over the stream.
I mean, I like that's the one thing that I don't agree with, like illegal streaming. Because for one, I bitched that I think fighters should be paid more, so I can't very well sit here and be like, they should be paid more, but nobody should pay for the fight.
No, right.
But, like, it's not the same to me. Like, I download movies and shit sometimes, but I also went and bought for a ticket to that movie, and I bought it on Blu-ray when it came out, but I didn't want to wait in between, so I just downloaded it illegally.
Right.
yeah.
So it's like, I paid you.
The
for-
FBI is going to
But-
be at your house.
It's like...
Yeah. You meeting it online, download
I haven't done it
movies.
in years.
I've streamed one fight, and it was the Valentina,
Some cards aren't worth the money.
her
though.
last fight.
I
Against
streamed,
Maya.
I streamed that Mike Tyson fight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
who wouldn't want to-
Yeah, I wasn't paying for
Fucking
that
amateur.
nonsense.
It's like a
No.
exhibition fight, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, I pay for enough fights. It's like
Yeah,
bro,
exactly.
Really? Like, and
Yeah.
I think they really need to accommodate people that have ESPN Plus. All right, give us a premium price of $40 a month or
Yeah.
whatever. You get every fucking pay per view.
Yeah.
Done.
Dude,
Yeah, that'll
even
never
just
happen.
even just like you can make it a couple hundred and it would still be worth it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
for the year, like
Yeah.
I'll give you 500.
But they won't
Yeah.
do that because they want to know how many pay-per-view,
Yeah, to
like,
sell it,
which
the
would
numbers
make
and-
any sense though because they see that you're, you know what I mean, that you're ordering it, even though I don't, I agree though. It'd be cool if they would do something.
Well, because really the casual number is what goes up and down. Like
With Conor,
I'm
yeah.
gonna pay that premium price. The casual viewer's like, I'm not paying $50 a month. Like,
Yeah.
but I would because sometimes there's 2 cards in a month and that would save me a lot of money.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because now they're $70.
Yeah.
Well, I think Dana said something about how none of the numbers this year were underwhelming, but like there's no fucking way that a lot of people paid for those last few fight cards. Like there's just no way. I like the Moreno versus Fig fight, but like that didn't draw that many
I think
buys.
the numbers
Yeah.
just gone up. I think there's just more fans now because he said last night was the second highest card ever, and I'm like,
This is,
that
yeah.
wasn't the fucking that wasn't the most hype
Yeah.
that I've seen around. the
Yeah.
card.
Well, what you have to think of, they probably did gain more fans because there was
The coach-
no other sports for a
Yeah.
while except
Yeah.
for UFC.
I
They were
think
the
their
first ones to
overall
come
number is
back.
just up.
Yeah.
Plus the Conor fight's like pretty rare, you know. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's definitely appeals to literally everybody. Like
Yeah.
people that don't even watch it order a
like,
Connor fight. It's
why?
crazy.
Why
Yeah.
do people even care about Conor anymore? I mean, I love him. I think he's still great, but like, why does the casual fan even give a shit anymore? He's lost every fight they've tuned into.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what
Right.
was crazy watching ESPN last night afterwards, and like normally you're only seeing Conor McGregor knockouts, and they
Yeah.
were showing his losses, and it's like holy shit.
Yeah.
They're showing Conor McGregor get choked out twice and then get knocked out on ESPN. Normally we're seeing him knock people out on.
I'm showing his like Cage Warriors fights where he's getting tapped out by like fucking like flyweights.
Yeah, stop it.
they show
Show Anderson Silva get heel hooked every fucking
they show Morgan as a plumber. They have video footage of that. They're like, God damn, just shitting on him.
He's collecting the social welfare.
Yeah, there's a video of it.
Unemployment line in Ireland.
Oh my god. All right, let's get into the card. So the first fight on the main card was Marina Rodriguez versus Amanda Ribas, and Rodriguez did win by KO TKO in the second round. She
Twice.
She really did it twice. Like really.
What a weird dude. Was I right? Was she still standing when he did call it?
Yeah.
Finally?
Yeah.
Like,
But she had no idea what was happening. Even after he called it, she was still standing there like this.
Yeah.
but that was failure all around. He got way too close to him.
He was hovering over their
already
back.
getting up as he was coming in.
Yeah.
Like he shouldn't have got that close. She shouldn't have been getting up when he was getting it when he came in.
I mean, he literally touched her and then was like, "Oh, no, we're good."
Yeah, you can't feel his pant leg touch
Johnny
your back.
Walker fight 2.0.
Right.
And then I mean to call it when somebody's standing up. I don't care how out on your feet you are. You're on your feet to me. I'm not calling it any fight.
But we see that a lot though.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
we saw it in another fight on this card.
Unless they're up against the cage just taking them. You know, then
If
it's
the
like,
cage is keeping them up and that's obvious, then yeah, call it. But
yeah, it was weird. But Rodriguez, I mean, at first Ribas did have some good ground control on Rodriguez, but then they got back to their feet and
she's a killer, dude.
yeah, and Rodriguez, man, she landed what was it, a right hook?
Yeah.
A
it
right
was a
hook,
hook.
and it just.
crippled.
Man, Ribas, her legs didn't work anymore. It was like for a second she looked like she was going to stand back up, and then she just tipped over.
Like baby giraffe
I
to
was
the
just ready
ground.
to say like a baby deer, baby
He did
giraffe.
the baby
Yeah.
deer legs last night. I was like, he got this motherfucker look like Bambi.
Oh, that was Andrew Sanchez.
It was who?
Andrew Sanchez, the
Oh, my
mullet
God.
guy, the mullet
Oh,
guy.
yeah.
Oh my god.
But so then she's getting just ground and pounded, and Herb Dean gets all the way over to her.
Teabags her
Basically,
neck.
yeah, basically touches both of them. So Rodriguez goes away and thinks she's won the fight, and then Herb's just standing there looking at her, and Ribas is standing there like this. And then,
He looks confused as to why he's like, really? I didn't do it. Bro.
Didn't do anything.
right,
And then I wonder if-
Rodriguez is even pointing at him like, "You called it," and
Yeah.
he's like, "What?"
And then I wonder if. And then when he called it when she was still standing, I was like, did he just call it because he felt bad? It just made me question that
Yeah.
call again, and I'm like, what the.
No,
Well,
she
got
unbelievable.
blasted
Yeah.
again. And then,
No, I
And then he
know.
called it, and she was still standing there like this, just looking around with her hands up, like, "What's happening right now?"
She's just smile. I love. She's just so bubbly. She's smiling through it all.
And Ribas is still young. I think she probably still has a good future ahead of her.
Oh, yeah.
But Rodriguez looked really good in
We
the striking.
we
game.
should just matchmake right now as we go through the card.
You just want to matchmake now?
We should just do it by fight. You know, there's only a few fights to go through, so
Yeah.
I feel like it's better, just to matchmake now as we do it. Talk about her.
So
I want to see her fight fucking
She's number 6.
Joanna. That'd be a great stand-up fight.
that would be
Yeah.
a good fight. Joanna needs a fight.
She
or
kills
ev-
Carla Esparza.
or
Kills.
or even
well, and they're saying that Carlos Baja might get the title
that's
shot.
fucking dumb.
That is fucking dumb.
That's ridiculous.
I ain't paying for
against
that.
Zhang?
Nope. Yeah.
Yeah,
Why?
because
What's Rose doing?
they're trying to sort of. It sounds like they're trying to make a narrative that Rose doesn't want the fight,
Right.
but I think it's just about timing. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, well, because Pat Barry came out and said that doesn't make any sense. Of course, we want that fight.
Yeah,
Like, why wouldn't we want that fight? But that is what Dana said. Like, oh, it looks like Rose may not want that fight.
Well, Dana
so.
also saying Khabib's gonna come back, and Khabib's like,
he's
no,
not
I'm
coming back.
No,
So-
Dana White said after the fights last night.
He's not looking good.
He said it's not looking good for Khabib coming back.
I think that he's sort of taking what he says and trying to extrapolate from it.
Yeah.
And say,
He said, I'm better than these guys. Clearly, like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go
When
fight
I
at
think-
welterweight then.
I think the biggest chance we had was if Conor went out there and fucking dusted Poirier,
Yeah.
which obviously didn't happen, but we'll get to that. But so for Rodriguez, I'd say Carla Esparza, Joanna would be a better.
Karate Hottie too. She's come off a good win.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, she looked pretty good in her last fight.
But man, when you're in that women's division and there's not that many relevant women, like, do you really want to take that step back after knocking somebody out like that?
Yeah, because
And
I
it-
was thinking her versus Tisha would be interesting.
You don't see a lot of that power too.
But
That her
any
striking.
victory is like enough to propel you into a title fight almost.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
the women's
Yeah,
division
they're all
really-
overrated. So I haven't been misogynist in a while. You know.
So you had to get it in there.
Yeah, it's been a few
Nicolette
weeks.
does not look happy.
This is my only outlet. It's my only outlet for this.
My girlfriend
Sorry,
yells
Nicolette.
at me.
Can't roll
A lot of-
my
yeah,
eyes
I just
hard
take it
enough
then.
My
sometimes to
girlfriend
do, I
yells
swear.
at me.
I'll just see her in the cage and see what she does. No, I'm joking. Send your girlfriend to the cage with feet.
All right, but good win for Rodriguez. I think we're all in agreement with that. Oh, actually, I guess we should have looked at Ribas as well.
That wasn't the guy.
Where is
The-
Ribas?
There she
Rebus
is,
is-
13.
She could maybe fight
Angela
Angela
Hill.
Hill. Yeah, Angela Hill would be a good fight.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
Did we all say that?
Yeah.
That's the fucking
I
fight,
did-
dude.
I literally didn't even look at the screen. Just like Angela Hill was fucking floating around there.
This is weird. So Andrew Sanchez, the mullet guy on here, actually has like a emo bowl cut.
Yeah. Hawthorne Heights haircut.
Yeah.
So like, he doesn't look like the same guy at all. That's
No,
a different man.
That's so weird.
Mullet changes.
And his nickname is El Dirte.
I thought
That's kind of
so.
cool, actually.
And he looked El Dirte
The
in his
Dirty
fight.
Sanchez is his name.
That's a cool name.
Andrew the Dirty Sanchez.
Oh, that is.
It's hard not to root for him, you know.
Yeah.
All right, but so
my.
Muradov did win the fight by KO TKO in the third round. This was also standing.
Yeah.
It got stopped. He basically had Sanchez up against the cage, just brutalizing him.
And Muradov looked pretty good. It wasn't a spectacular win, but he pulled away after the first round and sort of put it on him and took over the fight.
Was that the baby deer legs one?
Yeah. But Muradov is, like I mentioned to Dave earlier, he's managed by Pretty Boy Floyd's fucking management team or whatever. He signed with him, yeah. So like that's weird. It's weird that
Who's Pretty Boy Floyd?
I mean,
I'm thinking the gangster from the
it's fucking Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
It's like pretty.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fucking management company or whatever. So it's weird to like pick out some random Russian middleweight. It's like you sign that guy, like not that he's not good, but
Right.
who is this guy? You know,
Yeah.
They're just trying to get their foot in the door, and they're like,
Yeah.
here's a prospect, I guess.
he's naive. He's gonna be fucked over by us and
Yeah.
not.
But
He
yeah,
looks
realize
like Khabib or whatever.
They're all the same person,
Yeah,
really.
But yeah, he looked decent. He definitely outclassed that guy. So if we look at who maybe he should fight next, he's down here all the way at 23. Kamzat?
They're ranked the same.
Both the Leon Edwards fight.
Yeah.
They could do actually. Fucking. I'd say maybe Brad Tavares. He's coming off a win too earlier in the card.
Yeah.
Brad Tavares was a good win too, dude. Like he was outsized in that, and like
That dude was kind of.
He needed to win that.
and
like
dude
bad.
was coming with power and like trying to take him down, like pretty. You know, what I mean, was gunning for him, and Tavares managed to stay on his feet the whole time.
He had great
really
takedown defense, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'd be a good test for him. I think Tavares has settled into like a low end gatekeeper role, where if
Yeah.
you beat him, you're kind of ready for a bigger step up, sort of like how Shabazian did. You know, he beat him, but obviously wasn't good enough to beat Brunson. But
Right.
I mean, Muradov looked pretty good, and he finished him. That's pretty.
That dude
Impressive.
lost $20,000 on Shoeface last night. Against Tavares.
Why would you bet on a guy named Shoeface?
Yeah.
Like, literally, like why would you
But
bet on
seeing
him?
the size difference, it's like I can understand why you might think like yeah.
But
this
Tavares-
guy's gonna crush him.
But Tavares like only really gets finished, and like beat by high end people. Like
Yeah.
he lost to Shabazian, who's still pretty good, even though he lost to fucking Brunson. And his loss before that was Izzy. Like he went
Yeah.
5 rounds to Izzy. So it shows he's like solid top 15. You know,
Yeah.
it has been for years.
I
Yeah.
hate Scottish female accents. The guys sound cool to me. The girls, I'm like, what is that?
I think she sounds cute.
She's so soft spoken.
Yeah.
Cute.
But so Kyle said that because the next fight is Jessica Ai versus Joanne Calderwood. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't pay a whole bunch of attention to this
You're
fight.
better off. You're better off.
Well, just because I was distracted, I
It
was
wasn't that
talking
great
to
of
my
a
friend
fight.
Draws.
I didn't watch it. I was at
I was
the
trying to get other people linked into the fight last night because they were like, that thing, their error code is coming up, so I was giving everybody my shit. I wasn't paying that.
I watched this fight.
You did watch it.
I'm the only one that watched this
So
fight
how
in this
did it
room.
go?
It was a classic. It was a barn burner. Jessica Ai was technical, precise, powerful. No, it was pretty boring. It was like a clinch fest.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see Jessica Ai lose because I dislike her. I know that you're a Browns fan and she's from Cleveland, Kyle, but you know,
Oh yeah, this is the first time I could proudly just wear it.
yeah, without being ostracized in society,
Look at it.
He's had them all hidden in the closet for so long.
mothballs on him.
I
Right?
bought this when Baker got drafted. And I was like, I'm gonna have to throw it away last year. And I'm like, yes.
It's been a long time coming for you.
This is the first jersey I bought because I was like, I never felt like anybody was gonna still be on the team for more than a year, except for him. And then last year, I'm like, I jinxed him.
I love the tone of your voice when you keep saying things like that. It's hilarious to me. Oh man.
I bought a fucking Brady jersey, and then 2 years later, he's in Tampa Bay, so now I gotta go buy a Tampa Bay Brady jersey.
20 fucking years.
Yeah, you got one.
No, it's not that. It's just like the jersey thing. Like, now I can't wear my Patriots jersey because it's a Brady jersey until he retires. Then I can wear
He
it.
just won, I think, dude.
They did. I told everybody he's gonna win it again.
All right, next fight.
That's
All right,
my
so
man.
That's the only thing
so
is
good
Browns
for Joanne
talk. For
Calderwood. I
that.
do actually like Joanne Calderwood. So
Yeah, she's
good for her. And she accidentally robbed herself of probably a title fight, so this puts her kind of back in the talk.
She doesn't really deserve seeing her fight. Like, I like her as a person, but like you just see these women fight, and it's like no one's gonna beat Valentina. Just like if you can't,
She was booked to fight Valentina.
that's scary. She's probably should be lucky, consider herself lucky that she didn't get brutalized.
Yeah.
But then Maya put up a decent fight against Valentina.
Valentina's gonna catch a case one day.
Yeah, she's gonna kill a soccer mom in the cage.
All right, so for
Andrade, it should be the Valentina fight.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's the most compelling fight for
yeah,
that
for sure,
division.
that's the most compelling fight. And then, but for Joanne Calderwood,
Moving on up, Calvillo, Lauren Murphy.
Lauren Murphy, yeah, because Murphy needs a fight.
Because that would really be who should fight the next fight after.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think that's a good fight.
Andrade.
And I think Calderwood should be able to handle Lauren Murphy. It's crazy to me that, like, Lauren Murphy, we watched her fight not that long ago, and she wasn't, like, impressive, really, in any aspect of the game.
No.
No, I mean, there's
not a lot of specialists.
There, man.
There's not a lot of specialists. Like, you think about the division, and it's just like they're all sort of similarly skilled in terms of like they're all okay at grappling, they're all okay at striking, but like Valentina's just like elite at everything.
Yeah.
And like even somebody like
Wow.
Andrade is a great grappler and striker, but like it just seems like they're way above the division. You know?
Yeah.
I don't. Is it possible for Valentina to hit 115? Is she just not able to do that?
She's too
No,
thick.
probably
She's too
not.
thick.
Not?
She'd be she'd be like a TJ Dillashaw sort of situation where she's so drained, where she's seriously. It's like
Yeah.
really like.
Talk about her.
Wait, you don't like TJ?
Well, no, because I switched it over to the next fight, and she let out a sigh of ecstasy.
Oh, you should have seen me. I was hyped.
We did. I think you sent us a video.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and you should have
So,
seen when it actually happened. That was even better.
but so the next fight was Dan Hooker versus Michael Chandler, and our New England cartel baby over there was ecstatic, obviously, because
She's like 50-50.
Yeah,
Last
'cause-
guy got fucking.
yeah,
The most strikes
Yeah,
ever.
got punched the most ever.
because so Michael Chandler did win by TKO in the first round. I definitely thought Hooker was going to win this fight, and then me and Brandon actually watched these fights together, and just I don't know, seconds into the first round, I looked at Brandon and I said, he is not looking good because
No.
he was not using his space correctly. He didn't throw a fucking
He
jab.
couldn't
What were you
settle
gonna
ever.
do?
He just was like, what am I gonna do? But it's like Chandler. That's the thing. Chandler's in this position where it's like he could either shoot for the takedown or land this bomb on you the whole time. Like
He's
in
real
between.
good at getting
And
Springing-
right in
springing,
between.
like
Mhm.
a-
you don't know. You're like,
Yeah.
is he gonna throw a bomb or is he gonna shoot at my legs? And he's just in between the whole time. And
But you have to make him think about something. You
Yeah, they-
can't just not throw a jab. You
Yeah.
can't just
Right,
not
yeah.
throw a punch.
Or like even a front kick to the face when he's like seriously and like throw some kicks to his area because like if you don't want him down in that position because you can't read it right, you got to dissuade him from being in that position.
And-
that's
Yeah.
he was too concerned with getting taken down.
Chandler was doing a really good job at avoiding that kick. Like, his Dan threw it at least 3 times.
He landed
before
a
it
few,
landed.
like, but it wasn't like
You talking about the leg kick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
it wasn't.
Like that
just out of
lower
his
leg
range
kick.
every time. Like he catch him with his tippy toe.
Yeah.
maybe, but-
Chandler's just, I feel like he's only freaking 5'8". So when you're that small in like a lightweight division where there's guys, you have your outliers like Dan Hooker that are super, super tall, but mostly everybody's taller than you. So you have to learn how to fight that fight against someone that's long and lanky when you're short and stocky.
And that's how you do it.
And he just
apparently.
knows how
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah. I
He
mean,
set it up
and-
perfectly.
And I'm not trying to take anything away from Chandler. Great win for him. He proved a lot of us on this
Answered all the
podcast wrong.
questions.
Yeah,
Not
And
me,
but
you. From
but-
the beginning.
but I also think Dan Hooker was his own worst enemy. You got to make him think about
yeah.
something.
It could have been a lot
You
more
have to.
competitive. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this doesn't. Everybody's like, oh, he's for the title now.
No,
Like,
it's-
beating Dan Hooker doesn't propel you. To
Yeah, it's a
that's-
good win,
That's
but-
crazy
Great
talk.
win. It puts you in in a contention fight maybe, but
Right.
like
title shot
Poirier
immediately.
had
That's just
Poirier
that's too
already
much.
beat him.
Poirier had to fight again before he got a title shot, and that's the second loss in a row for Hooker. So it's not like it's the win's a little more tarnished than the Poirier win because he was streaking then at least he was coming off wins.
Yeah.
So now it's like, well, he should be getting like a number one contender fight now.
I think he should fight Gaethje.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then Dustin fight Oliveira, and then the winner fight for the title.
There's so many things you could do. There's so many things you could do at lightweight right now.
It's fun talking about lightweight again, though. It's interesting at this point now.
I still weirdly even think like I wouldn't care about seeing him fight, even though I think Poirier versus Oliveira should happen. I wouldn't mind seeing him fight Gaethje, Oliveira,
Conor, yeah.
I really wouldn't mind seeing. And he. I mean, that was one of the calls he made. Was
his
Conor.
call out was I loved it. Loved it.
And he did a good job. He threw more punches than the other guy. I mean, he told us that was his game plan.
Yeah.
I have to throw more punches than the other guy, and he did it.
He has a good chance of like beating Conor. Like, I mean,
he
not
was
the.
frustrated as fuck with Hooker too.
He was so frustrated. He's like,
Stand still.
"Where are you going?
Yeah. And
You're not even doing anything."
I feel like it's like Hooker. It's like he just needed a different game plan and he needed to assert himself and
He
actually
needed a game plan.
Yeah, and like actually like get respect from Chandler. He didn't get respect from him, like his strikes. And like Hooker's a pretty good counter striker. His striking's pretty good, so I don't know why he didn't really sort of utilize and take the fight from Chandler instead of playing his game like that.
Playing right, yeah.
He already shot down the fight with.
Yeah, he said he doesn't deserve it.
He doesn't deserve that.
I don't think he does.
I don't think he should fight Dustin either.
Yeah, it should be Oliveira versus Poirier for the title.
Yeah,
and that's that. And then I mean maybe you can. I mean you could even see. I could even see 2 fights in front of him still before you get the title.
Well, I would say I wouldn't mind. Me and Nicolette were talking about this before everybody got here, but I wouldn't even mind seeing. Go ahead and throw 2 interim belts out there or something because it's hard to have a title empty for that long. But Poirier versus Oliveira and Gaethje Chandler to see.
I wouldn't make that for the interim though, because Gaethje doesn't deserve an interim belt yet. He's
Conor,
gonna have a bad loss.
Now's the time to book Conor versus Ferguson. I think.
That was a good fight.
It's just like, what else are you gonna?
I don't think Conor. I don't know if I don't know. I think they're gonna do. I think we're gonna get Nate Conor 3 after this.
Dude, I don't want to see that.
I don't want to see
it.
No,
I hate that fight.
Like, why not give him the Ferguson fight if Conor wants to like beat up on somebody? and like, and like obviously the press conferences would be amazing and shit.
Yeah.
So why not do that?
I think that's if Conor doesn't knock out Ferguson early though, because Ferguson's still dangerous, and if Ferguson gets past round 2. Because it's going to be a main event, it's going to be 5 rounds. It's going to be compelling because it's like Ferguson, even though he's lost his last few fights, Conor's not Justin Gaethje for 5 rounds. He just isn't. He's not that composed.
No.
And his power does dissipate over time. And if Ferguson gets later on in that fight, it becomes a lot more interesting. He could bomb him out early and knock out Ferguson, but
yeah, I think that's the best fight for Conor right now. Though. Like,
and Ferguson will probably get up for that fight.
Yeah.
Like he's lost 2 in a row. He wants a big name still. I think Ferguson still acts entitled probably towards the division. He's lost, but he wants a big name.
He's got 2 brutal losses though, so it might be some issues selling it. Just because, I mean, his last 2 were just 2 complete dominations.
But it was different.
In 2 different aspects of the game.
Like
one completely dominated in striking. The other completely dominated in grappling.
Which who would have thought?
Yeah.
Their last wins are both Cowboy though. So.
Yeah, it's
like,
great wins,
That's hilarious. I didn't even think about that. All right.
It's just funny though, because like at one point, like Conor literally was magic for everybody. Like everyone talks about Conor, and it's like, oh, Conor was the greatest ever. And now we're like, damn.
Yeah.
Like, was he really ever as good as everybody thought he was?
Yes, he was.
I think he was.
At featherweight, he was.
So too, but it just shows. It just brings the questions like you said at featherweight, yeah, for sure. That weight cut.
But since we're talking about him, let's just go ahead and get
to the
there.
main event, yeah.
Yeah, so the main event, Conor McGregor and Dustin Porier. Dustin Porier does win by KO TKO in the 2nd round. And I personally never thought Conor looked like himself or really looked good. He looked like a straight up boxer. His whole career has been movement. He's really into movement and watching animals.
He needs Ida Portal again. He needs that one weirdo guy with the ponytail.
Constantly switching his stances, and like almost always in so many of his fights, in the first few minutes, he would throw a spinning back kick. he didn't look like Conor at all. I even said it to Brandon right away when we were watching it. I said, man, I don't know if it's good or bad, but he is like just being a much more of an orthodox fighter.
Yeah, and like being that heavy on your feet and like sort of coming in like that, he used to do a really good job at drawing people into his counters and sort of baiting them more so. And there wasn't that level of depth to his striking, I don't think, as much in this fight. Like he'd prod at someone's stomach and get him. He'd open up with kicks and sort of lead into that. He'd throw head kicks a certain way to lead him into his left. But he didn't do that a lot. And like he was just trying to play punch for punch in certain angles. And he looked okay doing that, but that's not. Most of his success wasn't based on that. So.
And he was just eating leg kicks, which was really kind of the path to victory for Dustin. I mean, he ended up rocking him with punches, but Conor's leg was fucking shot.
Yeah.
And I think I seen I was scrolling on Instagram and I seen a clip where Thiago Alves, after Dustin kicked him one time, was like, "Ooh, that's a good one." And Conor said he thought, "You bastard, it was a good one." Dustin just looked so good. Like, we talk about the best boxers in the game right now, and he's definitely one of them.
Yeah. Well, he beat Holloway,
I mean,
so.
Conor did have him rocked in that first round.
Oh,
he did.
yeah, a couple times.
He was like, if he'd have kept coming after me, he might have had me.
Yeah.
I made me
He
nervous.
definitely did have him rocked. And I like Dustin, Dustin always looks good and his boxing is good, but I really wasn't overly impressed with it, like especially in the first round. You know what I mean?
He was like
when
sort of
he
out of
opened
it.
it up when he went in for the kill.
Yeah, I mean he opened it up. I mean he showed a nice flurry in there, but I mean he had Conor rocked. I mean it's what you're supposed to do.
Once he started going wild, but like I felt like Conor had control of the fight up until his leg deadened, and then it was just like there's a part where you can tell Conor starts like, oh fuck my leg, and they switch from like sides, and it's all over for Conor after that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think a lot of the stuff that Dustin was doing was playing the long game.
Yeah.
It wasn't to win. Round one wasn't going to be his, because Conor's fresh, Conor's full of energy, and has that spring in his step. So he wanted to sort of dead his arms, grapple a little bit, get against the cage, make his arms heavy, and then he sort of was playing the long game. So it's like, when you think about a fight, it's like, well, Conor was winning, but Dustin was doing subtle things along the way to make him
chipping him away at him
in different ways and losing, but it's like, well, it's fucking, it ain't about right now.
But I thought Conor did handle that wrestling well. As soon as he went down, boom, he scooted his ass straight to this cage. It was like
It was
cage up, and he's out. You know what I mean? And then he was controlling the clinch. I just don't like. This fight doesn't make me write Conor off. Like
I agree with that.
He just faced the best lightweight in the world. That's not Khabib.
Yeah.
And I mean, you look pretty good. I thought he was winning the fight up until the end.
Yeah.
And then there's definitely a case to be made. If he gets back on that horse, he could still hang with all these guys.
I agree with that. I don't think he's just done. I think he needs to find that motion he had before, because like Brandon was saying earlier when we were talking, that motion and those constant switches protect that leg.
Yeah. A lot of it would be mitigated,
that he was like when the guy is Porier a lefty?
They're both southpaw.
So he's like, when the guy's the other way, it's easier to avoid that kick. That like he was breaking down that whole.
Yeah.
I mean, Conor's always really analytical when he loses and shit.
Yeah.
And I thought his assessment was right. And if you think, that calf kick came into prominence while Conor was out. Yeah, his team should have fucking prepared for it. But until you're dealing with it all the time, it's probably not something you think.
What was weird to me though is in one of his talks afterwards, he did say, he was like, I felt like I was checking him, but like, dude, you didn't check one of those fucking kicks, not a single one.
Like it'd be weird to see him fight Gaethje, because Gaethje would fuck that leg up
once
if he didn't get knocked out doing it.
Gaethje fucked up Dustin's leg. Sorry.
Once he started catching him, though, I was like, oh, he's got the timing. Like, he's going to start, here's where he's going to start turning on. He's going to catch that kick. He's going to fuck him up.
He didn't do it,
and it just seemed like it was too little too late, but then, like, the damage to that leg had already been done.
Yeah.
He did catch two of them, right?
He caught
2 or 3.
2.5, like, because he, like,
But also, like, to give credit to Dustin, once they got into his exchanges later on where his leg was fucked up, a lot of Conor's punches that were missing a lot more. Dustin was a lot more intelligent when defending and changed his defense up and actually started to sort of parry the jabs, and he would move out of the way from that left hand and sort of circle out and be aware of it. So like he adjusted too. It wasn't all just like
his movement looked good.
Away from Porier. That was great.
No,
he looked so freaking good.
And he deserves it more than anybody. He's a fucking class act.
He's like the nicest dude in MMA.
Huge for 155. He looks like a welterweight in there. I mean his torso is a tree trunk, and he's like I can't get that. I
Physique.
just had a fucking stroke. His physique is just out of this world. Like his just everything.
He's
His
thick.
stomach.
Think about Holloway fighting him. Like Holloway's
Yeah.
coming up. He's already pretty big. Like
Yeah.
He's just beat Holloway around that cage.
Yeah.
And Poirier, like I said, really made himself.
Tom Brady would.
He
What was
did.
But yeah, I feel like a Poirier sort of cemented himself as like the dude to beat in the division. He's
Yeah.
like the uncrowned champion.
I mean,
really,
he was a champion.
He is.
Yeah.
Like for all intents and purposes, he's the champion.
he beat all
He-
the
and
other
he
dudes.
even said that. He said, if Khabib's not here, then I'm the champion,
Yeah.
and I completely agree. I don't disagree with him at all.
And like
Paid in full.
I feel like and I mentioned to Dave yesterday, it's like if things get deeper in the fight, I feel like he just has a deeper well than Conor to dig from in terms of energy.
Oh yeah.
He has a lot
Well,
more
I
in
mean,
it.
he's been in these
In
wars.
wars.
He's been doing it, and I mean, Conor hasn't been in a war in forever. Like even his, I mean, it was forever since his last fight, and that was 40 seconds. Like,
That fight didn't really show much about
I mean,
where he
both the
was.
shoulder strike. I love that they were doing that.
I know. And Dustin kind of initiated it.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Conors were definitely fucking. He's
He's
throws
just
that
good
thing.
at it.
Yeah, it's so weird that somebody can be that good at it because
Yeah.
it's
He gets his
impactful. You see it and you're
whole
like,
body
Jesus
into it.
Christ.
He's able to just.
Peoria's nose up there. It's like,
Right. But great for Dustin.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see what happens there. I'm
It
also
might be
still
better for
looking
Conor.
forward to see what happens with Conor.
It might be better for him. I mean, what can motivate that guy at this point?
Yeah.
Besides, like,
A loss.
hey, dude, you lost. Like,
Yeah, I really
shit
wish
together.
Khabib would actually give Dustin another title shot, just because,
Yeah, I do too.
like you said, Brandon, Conor's never been knocked out.
No.
So to me, it's impressive that he knocked him out. You know what I mean?
I didn't think.
Conor.
See, everybody
He's literally like
It's-
sleeping.
It's so weird. It looks like he just was like, I'm just gonna lay down here for a minute.
Like he nodded off watching like.
I saw a thread on Sherdog. It's like it wasn't really a knockout. It was more of a doctor stoppage for his leg. I'm like, what the like?
Wait,
what
what?
the hell? It's like anything
was
you have to
knocked
say.
out.
Yeah, like,
that was definitely. They're definitely trolling. They
It was,
gotta
it
be
was
trolling.
weird. It was weird to see Conor
like-
actually out of it.
Yeah.
because he was for a minute. It was like,
yeah, he
holy
wasn't
shit.
out long. It wasn't like he was plastered against the cage, like just dead. But
Right.
he was flashed, knocked out, and
Yeah.
he wasn't defending
You
himself.
can see in his eyes, like, he's not actually there for this brief period.
But it is exciting because if Conor really does want to get back on it now, we probably get a fight with him in May.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I just feel like though, like it's just like naturally the downslip of his career, like, and then we mentioned it earlier, like you can't just like party and take years off and do other shit. You just can't like how much coke has he done in the last 3 years, dude?
Yeah.
Like too much for a top athlete. Seriously,
Right.
if you be a top,
Well,
because like,
John Jones.
well, he's an anomaly, but he also did that. He also did that when he was like 23, probably. Started like so.
Right. He
And,
was
No, I
and,
know.
super
I'm
young.
just fucking
Yeah.
around.
and that fucking in that division itself isn't like
It's not,
there's
it's
no
not this
killers.
division.
No,
Right.
it's not Shark Tank.
But like how much was Dustin in the gym putting in work for the last 3 years? While
Always.
Conor wasn't probably. Yeah, and it's just like you just have to look at like, well, you can't. There's no fruit there if you're not going to put in the work. And I'm not saying he hasn't worked hard this camp, but it's not just about this camp. It's about the lifestyle you lead.
yeah.
And like it just is going to add up. And being 32, you're young, but like. Not to bring back Fedor, but Fedor was 32 when he fell out. Sort of his prime was ending, and you know you sort of people age differently. Shogun was like 30 when his prime ended.
And I feel
Yeah.
like the lighter the weight, the earlier that.
Yeah, Frankie's like an anomaly, but generally, if you're like Chandler's sort of an anomaly too, and he's just now getting here. He's 34.
34.
Chandler said something last night. He's like, everybody says it's a young man's game, but all the top guys are in their 30s.
Yeah. Like Ferguson is like the high end too. He's like 37, 38.
Yeah.
So like it just, but Connor's his body has to be more aged than, like he looks older. His face looks more.
well,
He
his
definitely
shaven
looked a
head
lot
didn't,
older.
Like, help.
He had the pea head. Dustin didn't have a pea head last night. It was Connor. Dustin had the full head of hair. Connor had the pea head. And he lost. I think it's the hair.
Yeah.
That sort of.
That's where your power comes from. Why do you think I got all this?
I
grow
should
mine
be
out
okay.
too, dude.
Personally, so for Dustin Poirier, what I would like to see is Poirier versus Oliveira for the belt.
Yeah, Khabib has to just like get off the pot. Like
Yeah.
he ain't shitting, so get off the pot because
Right.
it just the up in the airness about it is like annoying now.
Well, is that Khabib's fault or Dana's?
It's Dana trying to milk that fucking
Yeah.
Khabib name and the allure of him coming back.
Yeah.
But I mean, regardless of whose fault it is, I just think Oliveira and Poirier both deserve a chance to win that title. So
Yeah, they're without a doubt the guys. Like,
Yeah.
Who else?
And it's annoying though, like I have Khabib tweet about the fight because he tweeted about Conor. It's like, dude, I like Khabib a lot too, but like, dude, are you gonna come fight or not?
Yeah,
Like,
I said the same thing about Conor, and I'm a fan of Conor. But
yeah, it's just like if you're, it's
shut up.
same thing with Diaz. Diaz, don't talk about anything unless you sign a fight. I don't give a fuck.
He's the only real martial artist left.
Yeah, he I posted that earlier on Instagram.
Diaz?
Yeah,
like,
it's
you're not even fighting. He said the only real martial artist left in the game. Well, you're not in the game, man.
Yeah.
What the fuck? You're all only real martial artists.
What's that?
How do you define real martial artists?
I like Nate.
Yeah, I like Nate too, but come on, get out of here with that
And like,
nonsense.
and
What are
like,
you saying?
when you think about it, it's like fucking Steven Wonderboy Thompson's on a martial artist. He's the nicest guy in MMA,
Yeah.
and he's a fucking killer. And he fights. Yeah, there's so many other people in the UFC that's like great dudes, fucking respectful people, and killers. So
Right.
you ain't the only one, you know. And you're kind of like a dickhead. Like
Right. In a
you're a great
fun way.
fighter. Yeah, you're a great fighter. But like
13 losses or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, shit, I literally just have what I was going to say on the tip of my tongue, and now it's gone. Hold on. It'll come back.
New England Cartel, baby.
No,
Oh,
it had
okay.
to do with...
Just it's a placeholder like phrase. Just if he's getting anything else.
Dang it, what was I going to say? It had to do with Dustin. I just don't remember what I was going to say.
But,
Dustin
yeah,
versus, Oliveira.
It's very disrespectful to have.
When I remember it, I'm just going to...
Okay.
Yeah, and then just let me go, because I'll forget it again.
But it's like very disrespectful to Dustin to have his next fight has to be for a title,
It has
or
to be
it's,
a
or
title.
it's like shitting on his name and shitting
Yeah.
on what work he's done, because like I noticed.
Especially after everybody just tried to sweep him right under the rug.
That's what I was going to
Yeah.
say. That's what I was
You know,
going to
Dana
say.
was sick.
I told...
Yeah, he was talking about Khabib versus Conor. Like the Khabib was like, think of the numbers it's gonna do if you fight Conor again. Like it's a foregone conclusion that
Right.
Dustin's losing.
Yeah.
One of my friends listened to me, one person, and they won money. Everybody else, nobody would listen to me. If I just would have bet all of them, since the beginning though. I mean, I thought he was gonna. I didn't think he was gonna knock him out like that. I thought he was gonna end
Decision.
up wrapping something up. I thought he was gonna sub him.
Did you?
But then I realized that I'm super superstitious, and I didn't post a clip this week, and both people I wanted to win won. So, because I posted one of the day of the Calvin fight, and he got his ass whooped.
Yeah, whooped.
So we're done with posting fight week videos of people that I want to win.
But Dustin, like it's like comparing their fights. It's like it's weird because you don't have much data on Conor for the last 3 years.
Right.
You have the Khabib fight, the Cowboy fight, and both those fights are wildly different than how Dustin fight was lined up.
Doesn't give him Porier anything.
No, and like you're just sort of basing off of data, old data, and
Yeah.
we don't know how Conor's gonna look. I wouldn't predict his stance would even be like that.
No, but if you prepare for old Conor that was super good, then you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Then you get that version of Conor that wasn't what you're
Just
used to. Then
stiff and orthodox. It was so weird.
And I mentioned earlier, like how much is that like ATT versus fucking John Kavanaugh's straight blast gym? It's like, you know, the tape and the way they prepare fighters is such a high level.
Well,
yeah, Mike Brown's awesome.
if Conor can win 2 fights, you know, that rubber match becomes huge, dude.
Yeah, it does.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Especially if Poirier has the belt.
Yeah.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
that's
If
massive.
Conor wins 2 fights, you know.
Yeah.
Poirier mentioned the Conor rematch already, and it's like, dude, like Dustin, give yourself a little more credit that you're past a Conor rematch. You're not bigger than
He
Conor.
needs to earn it.
Yeah, like, but don't give away freebies, you know.
No,
Yeah.
you're not bigger, but you're better.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure he actually meant like that's what'll happen
No.
next or anything. I just think he was saying that is definitely in the future. Because that'll be big if they're both in winning positions.
There was
Yeah.
some. Dustin caught Conor early in the second round, I think. Like he caught him with a good shot, and he pointed at him like, "I got you." And I was like, "Don't do that, dude. You just let Conor know that you were glad that you felt lucky to have done that.
Right.
Don't stop and celebrate your punch." Like,
Right.
I was loving his taunting though, because he's not normally like.
But like, it's kind of mental warfare that nobody really gives Conor besides
No.
Diaz.
Yeah.
Diaz did it, but he does it to everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
So
But so then I was going to talk about for Conor, the only 2 fights I really like.
Sanchez.
Diego
Sanchez.
Sanchez.
That's it.
Just crying.
Cowboy 2, right?
Right.
Just like
Back up.
I like Tony Ferguson or Michael Chandler would be my two picks.
Hooker
I'd love to
could.
see him versus Michael Chandler.
I'd watch him versus Hooker too.
I think Chandler.
It wouldn't sell as well,
Gaethje's
but-
more exciting than Conor Chandler. I think it lines up perfect. Ferguson, Conor, Gaethje, Chandler, and Porier and Oliveira for the title.
Yeah.
Who do you think they're gonna put Chandler? Probably number 5.
Actually, the
Probably.
Sonya's fight for Conor ain't bad either. That's
Yeah.
a fight that was supposed to happen a while back.
Yeah.
And Desanya's, I don't know, his leg kicks are pretty brutal. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, that's not the way to beat Conor now. It's not like just everybody leg kick him, but you can see past the victory.
I think the Dos Anjos fight makes sense. You could do that on a fucking fight night card. And, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I still don't think you're gonna get.
You're not gonna
Conor
get
on a
Conor
fight
to
night
do
card.
that probably, but
Yeah.
really, if I'm Dana, I'm like, you're doing a fight night card, dickhead. Or we're just,
How much leverage does he?
I don't think Dana wants him to do a fight night card either, because no matter
The
what,
money,
people are
yeah.
still gonna buy.
Yeah.
How much leverage does Conor have now at this
That's
point,
what I
though?
mean.
Not
Like,
as much.
I would
Yeah.
show him that he has no leverage.
Yeah.
Like,
Prelims.
yeah, pretty much.
Prelims, early
Oh,
prelims.
could you imagine?
6:30
Stream
p.m.
on Facebook.
But like sometimes it is
Instagram
about
Live.
sometimes it is about gaining new fans, and like you can give a Conor fight to people, to the casual viewer.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I mean, I don't think it hurts
Showcase
to do
card.
that. Yeah,
Showcase
like,
card with other talent you want to
Right.
showcase.
Yeah, like we just saw with Max Holloway.
Yeah. Well, like that's like I don't know why they don't use this opportunity. Like that random middleweight fight on that card. It's like, dude, that spot couldn't go to somebody else. Like, is that fucking Mordov guy gonna be at like anything? Like,
Right.
really? Like, I don't know if he is or not. He could be champion, whatever.
Why was that on?
Yeah, but like you think they'd put somebody like that's like up and coming that they could like make a name
yeah, like
for.
Kevin Holland on that card or something.
Right, there's somebody like flashy, somebody that can cut a promo.
Yeah.
It's just like some random Russian dude. It's like no one's gonna care about that guy. Like it was smoke break for most people.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
They still have the old. Everybody's paying for the Conor fight anyway, and like.
Yeah, but it's just have two minds because like one's short term. Like I'm not a fucking business mogul, whatever. I don't know anything about his business,
Right.
but in my head, it's like short term. Like yeah, they're gonna pay for the card. You could build new stars though off this card.
Right.
And like you did that with Chandler to some extent, but why not fucking raise all the boats you can, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. But let's go ahead and look at some of the future cards here, just the next two, because I'm trying to make this one a little bit shorter than usual. But we have a UFC fight night, Alistar Overeem versus Alexander Volkov, and this is actually a pretty good card. Underneath
is.
there, you got
Yeah.
Corey Sandhagen versus Frankie Edgar.
That's a great fight. That's a
That's a
relevant
great
fight.
fight.
Really good fight.
That's
Yeah.
a scary fight for Edgar. By the
That's
way.
what I was just gonna say. This is gonna tell us like this is gonna give Frankie his
I mean,
sign to
if
maybe
he wins,
retire.
if he's in fucking title contention.
right if he wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then Beneil Dariush is also on this card, who
That's
I'm
gonna
a
be a
big
fight
fan
to watch.
of. Yeah, he's going
And
against
Diego-
Diego Ferreira.
Who's also beat Pettis, submitted Pettis. So it's a relevant fight for the division
Clay
too.
Guida and Michael Johnson.
Oh my god. 2012. I used to
Brandon
put-
just looked at me so disgusted.
This is a UFC undisputed fight I would make back in UFC undisputed.
Michael John, that's
yeah,
The black one, you know.
Clay Guida?
Yeah, this is like
Well, but
this
man,
is like a UFC
we-
undisputed 3 fight.
but
Seriously,
listen, we
like
thought, well, he's thinking like, how is he fighting him? Like Clay Guida's got to be way far back. But we were talking about this the one time, I forget when, but we were like Michael Johnson. But then we went and looked. Michael
He's
Johnson's ranked like number 40 now.
Yeah.
and it's crazy he has knockouts against the people he knocked out Dustin Poirier at lightweight. That's nuts.
That's
to me.
fucking crazy.
Well,
Yeah.
it's like he did get to fight Khabib at like when Khabib was about to go for the title.
Yeah.
That's the one where it was like, you have to
Yeah,
quit.
You have to lose.
Yeah,
You're
and
the champion.
it's just like to have this to have this wins he has like against Ferguson and Poirier. That's two of the best wins like name value in the lightweight division.
Mhm.
Like he has this on his record, but he just his career so far removed from that spot he was in. It's just
Yeah.
like it's sad, and it's like I hope he wins just for that reason. Like you don't want to, and like Clay Guida is probably washed
It's
too.
like, was Michael Johnson at one time like one of the top guys,
He-
or were those guys just not anything like what they were gonna be when he fought?
Well,
them?
he also fought Gaethje too when Gaethje came in, and that was a pretty
Yeah.
that was a main event.
That was
So-
Gaethje's first fight. Excuse me.
I'm also really excited to see Dariush fight again because
Yeah.
it's been a minute, and I really like that guy. He's
That's
fun
where-
to watch fight.
That's where we get the meme. Isn't that the meme where Joe Rogan and John Anik and
They're all
everyone's like,
"Ah!"
Yeah.
I didn't know that was.
I'm
from
pretty
that fight.
sure it's from his last fight or the fight before.
Yeah,
that.
when he came back and knocked out that guy, he was like rocked.
Yeah.
Like fucking.
That's gonna be a fight to watch. That Diego Ferreira.
And,
We're
uh,
actually just on the Undertaker Joe Rogan podcast. He
I wanna
just
watch that
talked
one.
about that's where that meme came from.
Oh really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what I
I watched
thought.
clips on that podcast. It's pretty good.
I really want to watch that episode.
But Manel Cape's coming from I think one,
One.
and he was a champion there for 125. So this is a pretty relevant fight for that
Okay.
division. So we could have a new contender emerge if he beats Pantois.
yeah.
Devontae Smith's fighting too.
Who?
Devontae Smith, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, the Pittsburgh guy,
He's
right?
from Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And this
Oh
is
yeah, he is. Yeah.
Pittsburgh. Sorry, go ahead.
This is like a better card than last night's card as far as like depth. Like
Yeah.
it has more interesting fights.
Didn't we say Volkov and Overeem should, like last time we were talking about who Overeem or Volkov should fight?
Yeah,
That's who we like pinned them against each other.
yeah, I think we did.
I think we're
I'm
pretty
excited for that fight.
close to like
Yeah,
The-
the
the matchmakers sort of look at too.
Yeah.
And this fight seemed like it should have happened like 3 years ago. It just hasn't happened. It's
Yeah.
weird how it's been circling around like that.
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I don't have a dislike for Volkov or anything, but I'll be rooting for Overeem. I would
Oh,
like
yeah.
to see him.
Get
I-
another touch shot.
one more
Yeah,
run.
yeah.
And
I
like
would.
yeah, like Volkov looks like he has a lot more like career left. So like it's hard to root against Overeem because Overeem sort of like rose up as somebody who's like cocky and arrogant. Now he's just like humble and an elder statesman of the fight game.
Right.
So you don't see them get like put out like that. But
47 and 18.
that's
Yeah.
nuts.
That's like Moose level with how
And
many
he
fights
fought
he's had.
at like 6 different weights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's fought like 9 different like generations of fighters. Like he has like losses to the Chuck Liddell and Pride, and like he's still fighting. Like, what the fuck?
How's this possible?
And like he's so well spoken. His brain's been scrambled so many times. Like he's like anti-CTE or whatever.
Yeah, CTE. Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel like he's the cure for it or something.
Yeah, it's just like-
because you would think with how many times he's been knocked out, he would not speak well.
Well, and Francis sent him into the fucking shadow
It
realm.
was like
Yeah.
that was like the one of the most brutal
Oh,
knockouts I've ever
that's
seen.
probably- that might be the worst knockout.
Yeah.
Oh, that one was bad.
Any harder, and it probably had detached his
Dude,
like, skull from his.
He fought like 3 months later or something like that. It's like what the
yeah.
Yeah, who allowed that? Like, no, dude, you gotta
And he
sit
got
for
his lip
7 months.
split too. Remember his lip
The
fucking
blade fight.
splitting all the way to his
Yeah.
nose, pretty much.
Then the blade fight, his like head busted open. It was like a fatality. His head exploded with blood. It was like with elbows. Like
That lip looked so bad, but it wasn't even that.
that was
They
he.
sewed that up. You can't even tell, dude.
Yeah.
He should have
they
had that
definitely
win.
did
That,
job.
that was a win for
Yeah, he
him.
was winning that fight up until.
And then that was a bullshit stoppage again by Herb. I think stopped that fight like that.
Herb's
Herb-
been on a down.
Herb needs to get it together.
Lately. I miss Big John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I miss Josh Rosenthal.
Rosenthal,
Yeah, like, fucking.
is he in prison?
He's out.
Is he?
Yeah, he should be free Josh. He's a great ref, and he's just trying to make some money off weed. Like fuck it.
nice.
Big John. I mean, he pretty much made the rules.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you like really, I mean, he's been there literally since the very beginning. So
Yeah.
seeing him retire really sucked.
Oh,
but
I guess he hasn't been.
no, but his podcast.
He works for Bellator.
And his podcast with Josh Thompson is probably the best MMA podcast that there is.
You know, I've been watching a lot.
Right here.
well, I
this,
mean,
this
like,
is it.
Yeah, of course.
Go get on that podcast,
Look
then, all
at
right?
these. Look
But like, as
at
of,
these
like,
professionals in here.
but as far
Josh
as
Thompson.
professionals,
Yeah, fuck that guy. I don't even like Big John.
It's our competition.
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Don't ever mention them ever again on this podcast. It's free advertising that they're gonna take from us.
Yeah. They're gonna start ciphering our fans.
We can just get them to mention our name one time.
Yeah,
Like, no, but seriously, guys, could you talk about it?
yeah. Please, we'll pay you money.
Hey, their producer follows me.
If you tweet me a hateful message that you're mad at us.
Right, that's fine.
Any publicity is good publicity.
All right. So then after that is UFC 258, Usman versus Burns.
It's not a bad card.
It's not bad. When I first saw the first 2 fights, I'm like, man, that other card might be better. But Kamaru Usman versus Gilbert Burns and Chris Weidman versus Uriah Hall. Uriah Hall, you better fucking win that fight.
Yeah, he's
There's
got to
no way
win.
that's the order of the fights, right?
Yeah, it
Like,
is.
Yeah.
Gastelum. Why was Gastelum not?
'Cause
in the
he's-
co-main? Why
'cause
is Weidman in the fucking co-main?
Because he's fighting Ian Heinisch, that's why.
I don't care.
Macy
The return of
Barber
Macy
versus
Barber.
Alexa Grasso.
I hope Alexa Grasso kills her. I hope she.
Oh, like dead?
No, but I hope she disconnects her ACL from her knee again. I hate
God.
Macy Barber.
How can you put Chris Weidman in a co-main event?
It's crazy to me on a fucking pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's like a co-main of a fight night card, maybe.
It-
Yeah,
He's
I
a
would.
name.
I would actually much rather see that Pedro Munoz Jimmy Rivera fight up there. Seriously.
Two guys in the top 10 that don't belong in the top 10 of the bantamweight division.
Well, Chris
But they're
Weidman's in
still
the
there.
top 10. Doesn't belong in the
But
top
Chris
10 of
Weidman's
his.
a name. People know Chris
A
Weidman.
shitty name.
Well, yeah, but people know him, so that's probably why.
I think you guys shit on him a little too much. Like he sucks, but I mean, come
He
on.
deserves
Still my
it.
boy, all right.
He said,
Still my boy.
he said, I think you guys shot him a little too much. I mean, he sucks, but
That's he shit.
Yeah. And that's it. No other thing to say about him. That's all you had to say.
It's not. You couldn't even say
Offered
anything
no counter to
positive.
it.
No, when your wins,
He's handsome,
the
sort of.
title-
That's a lot, guys.
Both of
He
your
looks
wins-
okay.
Both of your wins for the title against fucking Silva were they're okay. Fluke might not be the best word, but Silva's fucking around. You catch him, knock him out. Okay.
Nah, me and Kyle's been arguing literally for 10 years about this first Silva fight. Yeah, like it's like if he would have knocked out Weidman from that same position, Silva's the greatest fucking knockout artist of all time, in which he is anyways. But like he clowns everybody, and that's how he fights.
Right,
And,
that's
like,
my
you live
thing.
by the sword,
Like,
die by the sword.
You can't say it's flukish because that's how he fights everybody.
Yeah,
Okay, well then the leg was
the
definitely
leg
leg
one
was
was a little
definitely
freaky. Yeah,
fluke,
but
and
also
then you go and Luke Rockhold, like that fight happened.
But also the first round, Wyman did knock him down from a clinch.
Yeah.
And Flash
yes,
knocked him
you're
down.
right.
Yeah, so it wasn't like Wyman's getting his ass beat and broke his leg. It was a competitive fight up until then, and he legitimately knocked out Silva in a way that no one else did while Silva clowned.
Yeah.
So it's just like that was the apex of his career, though.
Yeah.
Silva never recovered. You know, he never really came back to be Silva. So it's like, you know, he caught him on the downs.
Yeah,
Probably.
and I'll admit that Silva probably was already like over the hill at that point.
And was probably over it.
Yeah, because like he had the fight against Bonner before that, and that fight was just like Bonner's always like a fucking
Well, honestly, when it came to Anderson Silva, you had to imagine at some point he had to be like just a little bored.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you just knock everybody out.
You've been reigning champion for 10 fucking years.
Yeah.
Right. I think there's a bunch of different influences why fighters like fall off a cliff and like lose and never get it back. And like that happened, but like you have to give Wyman credit to be the one that did it. Just it just is history, you know?
Yeah.
No,
And like
right.
and that's his top of his career. Yeah, and like he beat Machida in a good fight. That was actually a pretty good fight by him. Machida was looking pretty good. And then he beat deflated Belfort, and that was it. Seriously, and that was his career. Well, Belfort was coming off of TRT. He didn't look as big as he was.
No, I know.
Right.
It's just the, it's
was
just
fucking-
the terms.
He was deflated, dude. He
Yeah.
was saggy.
Yeah, he was. It was
'Cause-
weird.
Yeah, it wasn't like
It's like, man, the last time I saw you, you were fucking a ripped up monster.
Yeah.
Now you're all saggy.
How could your body even like regress that much?
yeah.
Right.
Like he was like
Steroids.
50 pounds heavier, kicking like Rockhold in the bangs or whatever with that back kick, fucking like blasted him with it, looking like a monster, and then like he comes in with like an old man body, and you're like, okay, well,
Yeah.
and then he gasses out in round one. But yeah, like I said, Weidman historically is underwhelming as a fighter. He just his career isn't as good, and like it's sort of time wise, right place, right time. You know, for
Yeah.
the Silva fight, but all power to him. In those two fights, he looked pretty good. He had great ground pound. He's a great submission artist. It just, I think his body also suffered a lot in his injuries and shit too.
If anybody's gonna beat Usman though, I think it's Burns.
Yeah.
Burns is a
if
fucking
Usman
killer,
crushes
dude.
Burns, then ain't nobody beating Usman.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe Colby again would be competitive, but I still think he beats Colby. But like Burns and Usman have like trained over 100 training sessions together.
Yeah.
They've
like
trained
really?
together. Yeah, like
I
they
didn't know that.
they know each other, so I think they already know who's gonna win.
Chandler said he used to work with Usman or was training partners, and he picks Burns. He thinks he's like, I just think
Yeah,
Burns has it.
I feel like Burns has better striking than Usman. Usman has like maybe I don't know more
Jiu-jitsu
power.
is fucking really good.
I think-
Usman doesn't really have like impressive striking.
It's-
Like it's
okay.
Serviceable for,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
his
Same with
fighting
Colby,
style.
though, like,
Colby doesn't have a great.
Colby doesn't have great
no,
striking
but
either.
like he volume striking.
Yeah. They both throw a lot of straights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like
Straight is what I'm pretty sure broke Colby's jaw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure it was because it's all he throws. He doesn't really throw hooks or uppercuts or. They just go forward
It's
and
all
they use
to
it to
get
they
you to
they
the
use it
cage
to
or
apply
down.
pressure to you, put you up against the cage, and
then take
hopefully
you
get a
down.
takedown.
I think that Usman's only path of victory is like clenching into the cage again for 5 rounds.
Oh, and one more thing about Conor, the post fight, like I just thought he was all class last night. when he
Oh,
lost.
all
And-
class.
Oh, yeah.
like,
He actually always is in defeat.
yeah, but
Yeah.
like he
Even
was-
the lead up though, he was like very
Yeah.
classy and humble. I'm like, I like Conor McGregor. What the fuck is
Yeah.
happening? I'm
I
like
was
okay
super,
with
super
this.
impressed with how he handled everything, and I mean his analysis of it. So that's why I think I mean we'll see what happens with him. I think he could still get back on that horse.
I agree.
Maki Patola is fighting on that fight.
He's a pretty good knockout artist.
Yeah, he's a contender series winner.
And also Rodolfo Vieira is like that ripped ADCC Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion. He's like fucking huge and undefeated. He's fighting That random dude.
Polyana Viana too.
That random
Damn.
dude.
Yeah, that random. I feel like there's an Anthony Hernandez in every division. Like that same name literally is in every division somewhere, like in the top 40s of every, like it's just some random Hernandez that I don't know who that is. Oh, it's the middleweight one. Okay.
Okay, good, cool.
Yeah, it's his big brother or whatever.
So this is on the like
February
14th or something.
Yeah,
13th?
I believe so.
That's actually coming up pretty fucking fast.
13th.
And then they got there's two March pay-per-views. There's the Izzy one and there's the Francis one.
The
Francis
next few months are gonna be fucking cool.
Stipe
Dude.
and Volk versus Brian.
That's a fucking crazy ass
I
card.
can't wait for that fight, because that's gonna open up a two rematches.
Yeah.
It could
Like-
either be Max versus Volk, or it can be Max versus
I think
Ortega.
Volk beats Ortega.
Oh,
I think you guys
don't.
are. I think
Yeah, I don't know.
I think
think
that Volk is too
Brian's-
smart. Like the way, like I mentioned, Dave. Like the fact that Volk didn't get beat up like that from Cater did, and he stopped Max from doing that to him is pretty fucking impressive.
Yeah.
Like Volk
Yeah.
is a smart fighter.
Volk becomes way more impressive after watching Holloway do that to Cater. Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
then,
he-
go ahead.
Yeah, but like he said that he knew how to stop that pressure, and he's smart with it, like by changing levels and sticking with leg kicks. And like Max is hard to fucking beat. He just is hard to beat. So it's like the fact that you did beat him, and like it's a contested decision by a lot of people, but he technically did win, and that's
Yeah.
pretty impressive in its own right.
I think that, Brian's striking obviously has improved 1,000-fold, but
It has.
like his jiu-jitsu threat is always there for everybody. He's just too good
Yeah.
when it comes to his jiu-jitsu. I just
Yeah.
think he's a bad matchup for Volk, because he's just well-rounded. He's just very well-rounded.
he's definitely the one that should fight Volk. Do I think he's gonna beat him?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's tough to say, but I mean, I give him a chance for sure because his striking looks so much better. I mean, if
So
they go to
good.
the ground, he's a jiu-jitsu master.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, he can submit just about anybody.
yeah.
But I don't even know if Ortega beats Holloway. You know what I mean?
Because Holloway 2.0 now is like fucking
Yeah.
just as good as like we saw the improvement to
Brian.
Brian.
Yeah.
And then it's like Holloway comes out and fucking puts on the best striking clinic I've
But
ever
man,
seen.
if
Probably.
Ortega wins that fight and you get Holloway versus Ortega 2 for the belt, it's like, fuck, this
And you
is gonna
get
be
Brian
sick.
2.0 and Max 2.0.
Right.
Like, they're both better versions of themselves than the fight before. So
I feel like Ortega's gonna have a hard
I'll buy
time
that pay-per-view twice.
taking
I'm
him
glad
down.
I ended up buying this one, because I've already gone back and watched the main and the co-main 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're not very long to watch, so.
but I feel like Ortega's gonna have a hard time taking down Volk. He's
If
just
he didn't work on his wrestling.
yeah, it's just like
for
Volk is
sure.
like a fire hydrant. That's hard. That being that small and that packed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm excited, though.
Yeah, it's
really
gonna be-
excited.
And especially with Francis and Stipe on top of that, it's like that. It's weird because like that fight is just like I'm excited for it, but like I'm sort of just like over the idea of it. I wish it already happened 2 months ago. Like
Yeah.
seriously, I'm sick that it's just now happening, not next month, but like 2 months from now.
Yeah.
It's annoying, but
But I'm
What-
still excited. I mean, there's a lot of good fights, pay-per-views coming up.
I wonder what's on the Izzy card besides Izzy and Jan.
Let's find out.
Take
Yeah.
a quick look.
Yeah, I just wonder if they stack that with anything yet.
Look, the Aljamain.
Oh, Nunez
No,
versus
it's not-
Megan
it's
Anderson,
right on
dude.
there.
Oh yeah, my god, it's like fucking.
This thing is, we forgot this card's stacked.
Dude,
This is like the most stacked card of all time.
They just added,
Holy shit!
dude, it's insanely stacked. It's
Didn't
too
they just-
stacked.
didn't they just add something
It
else
just
to it,
keeps
too?
going.
Nah, Sherdog's usually pretty good about keeping their stuff.
Dude, it's gonna be fucking Khabib versus GSP on this card as well. They're adding it. It's gonna be like on the prelims.
It's
There's
gonna be on the
another room. There's
prelims.
another room for it.
Dude, all the way down. Like I know every name on that list right there.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm super excited for this. I think,
Dude,
I feel bad for Benavidez. I think Askarov's gonna.
Thiago Santos.
Kick his Askarov. Kick his Askarov, right?
Yeah.
The name that you paid.
Yeah, this card is ridiculous. So it's
Holy
Jan
shit.
versus Israel, Nunez versus Anderson, Jan versus Sterling, Cruz versus Kenny, Santos versus Rakic, Benavidez versus Askicker Askarov, Makachev versus Dober.
Espinoza, who's from the Pittsburgh area, right? Nicolette.
Jordan? No,
yeah, he trains with
He trained out of Demolition Fight Team in Finley.
right. So he's kind of local.
Yeah,
and Kai Kara France from
Devin's cornered him a few times. He's him and Devin are real close.
in fucking Kai Kara France versus Bontoro. France trains with Izzy, and there's fucking Jake Matthews, who I know who that is, versus Sean Brady.
Sonny
Sonny
Dong's
Dong.
way down here.
Whoa, dude.
Dude, what's
This is
what's the last fight? What is that?
It's two girls.
What?
So you
Good.
don't care.
All right.
That is
I don't care
very
about those two
early
either.
March, right?
It's on MySpace video or whatever.
March
Six.
6th, yeah.
But yeah, that's like the best card I've seen in like years, literally. If that holds up like that, that's one of the most.
The gods
This
better
don't
be
have
good to
much.
us.
Johnny Walker versus Jimmy Crute. Willie versus Vicente Luque. Yeah, that's coming up. I forgot. They
Yeah, it's
announced
not
that.
too bad so far, and they still have
Oh
time
yeah,
to add
that's
to
what
it
it was.
too.
That's what they just announced. Tyron Woodley. said they
Yeah,
look good.
there's
They announced it last night.
there's Bukaki versus Ola Jacek or whatever.
Bukaki.
I think it's his
Stop
name.
it.
It's so far away. The screen's so far away now. It's weird in this room.
I am gonna just read through some of these.
I'm glad they finally are gonna get this done.
I can't wait for
Yeah.
Arlovsky to coach through a 3-round decision and
I
take
don't know.
$300,000 from the UFC every time he fights, just coasting.
I don't know. That Tom Aspinall looked pretty good in his
Yeah.
last fight. That might be more of a battle.
Yana Kutsin-Kaya.
Of
she's
course.
like-
Why is there so many fucking heavyweight fights on this
I
card?
know that's weird.
I don't like
The
that.
card's okay. It's not great. I mean,
Dude, it's all heavyweights.
Fight night, right?
yeah.
It's either gonna be a bunch of decisions or a bunch of like super quick knockouts.
Yeah, just like sloppy
Yeah.
knockouts where someone falls like awkwardly. Did you see that? I think it was this past week that
Fight
one.
card's not bad either.
No, that Nikita Krylov.
It's not great, but it's not bad.
Sunchild versus Barcelos. That's a good fight.
Yeah, that's what I was. That's
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that they
fake
booked
cowboy.
that. Oh my gosh, fake cowboy.
And Kevin Kroom versus fucking Alex Caceres.
Yeah, he's
Ri-
been around for a while.
Caceres has been around for like 10 years. It seems like.
Okay,
Ankalaev finally gets to get past
Ian
Kubala.
Kudala. A fight on here.
To me, a run in with a steel chair. Kudalava's gonna run in with a steel chair and blast him.
The rivalry's not there.
Book it again. Hell in a Cell match.
That Alexander Hernandez versus Thiago Moises is. I think
That's a great
gonna
fight.
Be a good one to watch because
Yeah.
Moises trains out of ATT if I'm
His
not
name is
mistaken.
so close to moist.
It is, yeah.
Bugs me.
He should fight Bukaki.
He should fight Bukaki.
It's not moist Bukaki. He comes with the moist Bukaki part. No, ew, what?
So gross. I hate
Fucking
you, dude.
special referee Kevin Kroom.
Oh my god.
Dude, Kevin Kroom, special referee, I think.
Oh Jesus!
We're really gonna Kroom out there, I think, in that fight.
I love the
I'm
top
done.
two fights on this card. Leon and Kamazat and Rosenstrike.
How far is
That's
this away? This is so far away. It seems like
Yeah, March 13th.
Dan Ige and Ryan Hall. That should be interesting.
Ige's gonna beat him. I
I
think.
think so, unless
like Ryan
Ryan Hall
Hall.
takes him down because Ryan Hall is just
Ryan Hall literally has no boxing. He has distance kicks and Imanari rolls.
and heel hooks.
Yeah, like that's his fucking game. It's
Did
like,
you see they unbanned heel hooks and nogi? IB,
they?
however you say it.
is that because of the fucking Dana Death Squad was like heel hooking everybody?
I'm not sure,
It's like-
honestly.
More people should go for that Imanari though. Like
That shit's sick if you catch
yeah,
it.
I just think people should shoot for it a little more. Like I don't know, you don't see it very often.
And it's a pretty good entry if you're fresh. Like I think
Yeah.
Ferguson did it too late in his fight against
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gaethje.
you should try it. early.
When you're dry and you can get around their leg like that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, for Kevin Holland, his card is the weakest card we looked at.
It's still not the worst card I've ever seen, but
Yeah,
it's pretty
Do me
bad.
a
pretty
favor.
bad.
Click on that Cheyenne Buys girl real quick.
Don't do it. I'll pay you not to do it.
Overrated.
I'm just trying to figure out.
Okay, never mind. All right.
Oh, hey.
Not the worst shirt dog profile I've seen here, but
Okay, never mind. I thought she was somebody else.
isn't
That's
Kay
why I-
Hansen like really young?
Yeah,
She's like 20.
I wanted to see where she fought out.
The Warrior Princess. Okay.
All right.
You got 3 amateur fights. Okay.
Easy, Xena.
Yeah. I like when people have like nicknames, have like 2 fights. Like, who gave you this nickname?
We've had this conversation.
Yeah, like who fucking.
and
Have
it was
we?
pretty funny.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right.
I
Well,
need to get new
I
material.
think we can wrap this up.
Yeah.
But actually, there's no fights next weekend, huh?
No.
So we'll see. We might end up doing some kind of episode. If not, we will definitely be back the following week.
Yeah, because we have to preview.
Oh, we at least have to preview the card.
Well, there's no fights. Well, is there fights 2 weeks from now? I guess, yeah. I mean, if we don't have what's the next one? It's the 6th, right? Is that
Yeah.
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 So it's-
Overeem versus Volkov? Yeah, we'll see what's up next week.
Okay. All right. All right.
As I make an executive decision, we'll see what's up next week, guys. I'll figure it out for us.
I will say though that going to Breyer's fight was the first like live, like any kind of live MMA event I've ever been to.
Oh yeah.
It was pretty fucking cool.
Oh,
Was
they're fun.
Like
yeah,
it was
even those
really really cool.
even
And
those like smaller promotion deals, it's fun.
yeah, I mean it was just like
I've never
this
been
little
there.
town.
I
in
lost my
Kentucky.
voice at one. I was
It was-
standing on a chair screaming
Who-
Oh, I
Who'd
was
you scream?
screaming.
for Kellen Hughes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You never been to a UFC fight?
What's that?
You never
No.
been to, they're so expensive. I look at tickets.
I almost bought floor seats for when Cody was supposed to fight Sunsour in Columbus, and then
Yeah.
COVID happened. I literally this close.
I always
in
think
my
that
cart.
I would like to go, but at the same time, I'm like, man, you have such a better view watching it
can't
on your
see.
Like, you
TV.
can't, like, there's not a better ticket that I can pay
No.
for than the $60 or
Right.
whatever. And
It's
watch it
just
on
the
TV.
experience.
There'll be parts of the fight I won't be able to see at all.
Yeah.
Like, fuck.
Well, they have a Megatron. They have it. They have a big thing.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
what?
so, like,
Did you say Megatron? the Transformer bad guy?
What is it? What's the word that I
Go
wanted?
there and watch a fucking screen. Just stay home and watch the screen.
Right.
What's the
And not pay
experience and like the
$400.
opportunities? There's so much opportunity when you go to those. I don't know. I want to go to International Fight Week. I want to go the whole week, buy
Yeah.
the whole thing.
I like
That would
that.
be
Something
all
like
the
that would be different. Yeah,
parties.
that's an experience.
Yeah, that's a
That
whole
would be
experience.
fucking
Yeah.
sweet.
You can
We could do that and then just like set up a podcast just right in the middle of everything.
That'd be sick.
They'd be like, "What
When
did
is
these
that?
guys fucking do? Who are you?" Like, don't worry about it.
You don't know now, but you'll know soon enough.
Do you notice, like, if you look at any interview, it's like, who has the first question? It's always John Morgan.
Yeah,
Oh,
It's
he-
like, why do you even ask who
I
has the
know,
first
he
question?
just-
It's a compilation of. In the first question, it's him every
Every time.
It's like this 7-minute video of him just like the first question, me. First question, me.
Yeah, and like, why do you even ask? Like,
Yeah.
all right, John Morgan, go ahead, just fucking ask
Right.
the
Ask
Ask
question.
your question, John.
And like, I think he shows up early. That's why he gets all the first. Like, seriously, I think he sets up really early and like has.
I just think everybody knows it. Like he's just
just
been
powered his
around
way into that
forever.
position.
Yeah.
Dude, he's been
That'll be
grinding.
me one day. I'm telling you. I already got called Megan Levy like last night. So.
You banned like Ariel.
Yeah.
Oh, he hates Ariel. He
All
fucking
right. Well,
hates Ariel.
MMA fools, we're out.
All right, peace.
Audi.
See ya.
Howdy.